What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Real Deal Sports. We are back. It's been a while, with the holidays and just life in itself. But we're back. It's okay. Well, two of the three are back. Walt has some things that to take care of tonight, but he will be back for all future shows. But John, we gotta get into it, man. Before we get into it, how was the holiday?
It was good, man. It was real good. Yeah, I was telling people I was trying to grow. I've been trying to grow my hair out for months. Get that look, that quarterback look.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I've made it so far is just look like Mel Kiper at this point for months now. So I'm almost about to give up on growing my hair out, but we'll see. I'll stick with it a little longer.
What you trying to get, like that Justin Herbert look? What?
Yeah, I was going for Justin Herbert, but I've been stuck with Mel Kiper for.
You gotta wet it. Go ahead, wet it.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like this is just.
You gotta wet it. It'll be all right. Just throw some water in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But someone that is not fine, Tua. Tua is in concussion protocol. I would say, honestly, for maybe the third time this season already?
The second time technically, but that first one we all think might have been a concussion, but it still hasn't been.
Bro, you grab your head, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, but they still haven't called it a concussion, so
you don't hit your head and grab the bottom of your foot, like, my foot, like, bro, you grabbed your head though. No, but my foot, like, come on, man. But my question to you, John, if you were in his family or he was someone that came to you for advice, what would you tell him? Because, that head, the brain is one thing you need for the rest of your life. If that goes, everything else goes. So if you were someone that was talking to him and he came to you for advice, what would be something you tell him,
man? I would say take a pay cut, pull a Brady move, and get that line bolstered and protect and stay behind that pocket. Learn to be a pocket quarterback. The problem is, like, or get out. Like, that's the only two options, because he's a shorter guy for quarterbacks. So sitting behind that line isn't really advantageous when it comes to vision downfield. I mean, you kind of want to roll out and see around them dudes, because these linemen are now 6'6", 280, 6'8", 290. Like, they're huge.
And they run like 4 or 5.
Yeah, and he's barely 6 foot. And so, like, he can't see over these guys half the time. Like, let's just be honest. So he has to constantly – it's not like he can stay in the pocket. He had to constantly roll out, get a better look and all that stuff. Also, yes, him and Tyreek have been having a great year. I'll give him that. However, come on, man. We all see all the balls that Tyreek is coming back for. We're not stupid. Like, but he was rolling. He was having that great season. But everybody has tape on you now, and it's the end of the season, and they figured him out. I guess I owe you an apology. I mean, you were half right on this Patriots thing. You predicted that the Patriots would zoom back into that playoff spot. I think you were saying the Patriots were going to get good. What really happened was the Jets are now on their fourth quarterback, and the Dolphins can't seem to protect Tua. And, he's a small guy. Every time he takes a bounce. I've never seen a guy – I feel like he doesn't know how to fall. Like, and that's not a shot at him, but, like, I'm just saying, like, one of the first things we learned in sports was, like, learning how to fall. Even in basketball, you learn how to fall. Like, he just seems like every single time he takes a hit, his head bounces off the mat. And I'm like, how are you hitting your head every time, man? Like, at some point, you got to keep – like, he's like a bobblehead out there, And so I'm just like, it's just tough. Either he's got to learn how to fall, or it's going to be short, man. It's going to be short because – and I'm not saying like health-wise. I'm talking about like you're just going to see him deteriorate with the more hits he takes. So no matter what, his game is going to deteriorate. Whether he starts to lose it up here, or if he just loses it physically. But either way, like this amount of hits doing that kind of damage to you, you're gonna see him start to fall off. And like, I don't know, man. Like Miami's looking at their team saying, like, we have the team. Like San Francisco, we have the team, but do we have the quarterback? I'm not. I'm not faulting his game. Like some people are upset with his game because he lost like 4 in a row. I think 5. I don't even know how many now, but I'm not faulting the game. I just think it comes down to these concussions. Like you can only take so many, especially at quarterback.
No, but I do agree with you. Like, as far as like knowing how to fall, he does. If he was a basketball player, he'd probably be in concussion protocol after every game because and I've never played quarterback, so I don't know, but I just think in sports, when you're falling, you hold your head up. You tuck your chin or what have you, so you don't hit your head on that ground. Now,
Yeah,
sometimes you can't prevent it,
right.
depending on the play or, if someone pushes you in the back or something, then, it's just certain things you can't prevent. But I don't know. I don't even think an offensive line will help because if you look at like when he hurt himself against Buffalo, that was just, him being pushed after the play.
Right.
It's not like it's, a blitzing linebacker up the middle and he's getting concussed. Or even that Green Bay game when he got sacked. His feet, dude had him by the feet and, his face hit the ground.
I
And it's
agree.
even with that Cincinnati might be the only time where, maybe a better offensive line could have prevented that. But, if I'm his parent or his brother or someone he confines in, it's like, bruh, that's your decision. Do you really want to risk pretty much your health? Because the head is one thing you can't do therapy and, you can't go in and
No,
scope out what's going, that head is a sensitive thing. So,
even concussion trauma, they can only review it like after you're dead. Like you know what I mean? They can go in and look at it after you're dead and be like, oh yeah, yep, he had problems. Like you, so it's not like yeah, I agree.
yeah. So I mean, if I was one of the people he could find, then I'm like, hey, I understand, you know, you, I understand you're going into your prime, but at what cost?
Right.
Because you might be able to maneuver it now, but you got to think 20, 30, 40 years ahead. Like, yeah, you can shake it off now, but when you 40 and 50 and you forgetting and can't remember small things or, you forgetting where you at, or, like I remember watching an episode of this show with Warren Sapp, and he was saying he was on his way to see one of his friends, and out of nowhere, mind you, he's driving. He forgets where he's going. I'm like, bro, that is scary.
Yeah.
You forget where you're going, and like that. He said he pulled over. He called, I think he said he called his wife. She told him where he was going. He and then he called the guy that he was going to see. He told him he can't remember where he's at. And dude thought he was playing. And he was like, no, I'm like very serious. I don't know where you are. And he said he was so embarrassed, he just went home and sat in his den for like 2 days. But, and you got to think that's from a defensive tackle.
Oh,
He's
I know.
ramming into somebody every play.
I know what he's talking about. I set my map every time I leave the house. I set my map to where I'm going because it happens for me. I don't get embarrassed about it because it happens all the time. Like I legit will be going somewhere and just forget where I'm going. And if I hadn't set my map when I left the house, like I would just forget all the time.
Yeah.
As a play, so I played a lot of quarterback and tackle leagues, and like the one hit that you just can't do anything about is that blindside hit,
Yeah.
which is mostly neck injury. You're standing there in the pocket, next thing you just take one, and your body goes forward, and your neck just kind of stays there.
And it
And it
snaps
was,
back.
yeah, Peyton Manning had huge issues with that. But just, I mean, even 2 weeks ago he fell, and he didn't get in concussion protocol. But like you can see because they showed it on the big screen, everyone in the stands goes, oh, because he hits his head and he hits his head and he hits it. It's like, dude, how are you constantly hitting your head? And I know he's a small guy at 6 foot, but that's not tiny, man. So it's like, how are you constantly hitting your head? And only he knows what he's going through personally. I know he's young. It's how a lot of guys join the military because you're young. You don't think you can die, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. This is great. Yeah. I kind of wonder, like, at what point it's gonna hit him, where he's like, I can't be doing this to myself. Is it gonna? And because Andrew Luck was a little older, Luke Kuechly was a little older. Some of the guys walked away. But for him, with the hits he's taken, it might be too late by even that age. So I don't know, man. It's hard to see for everyone who's a fan of him, but or just in general, it's hard to see. But
yeah, I agree. But going from I can't even say bad to worse, but yeah, it is a bad to worse. Nathaniel Hackett is out in his first season. He's out in his first season. You heard that correctly. He is out in his first season.
Before the end of his first season.
Exactly. He has been fired by the Denver Broncos. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see it coming. Because it's just one of the. I mean, he's a rookie head coach. So it's like it's growing pains. It's like a rookie quarterback. It's growing pains. These are, he's trying to figure his way out. Like a quarterback. He's trying to, hey, figure things out on the fly. And I think that's the thing about the NFL. It's a win now. If you're not improving, we're going to put your ass on the bench or you're going to be fired. And Nathaniel Hackett saw it firsthand. And then I just think with, the altercations that was going on during the game, after the game, the team wasn't really rallying behind Russ. It was just a lot, man. You feel bad for him because, like I say, he was trying to figure this thing out on the fly. First time ever head coach. He was the QB coach or QB coordinator or offensive coordinator, something in Green Bay. And this is the one time, it doesn't work for him. That's really what it came down to. What's your take on it?
I'm not surprised. Because like you said, he's a rookie, right? And we started game one critiquing this guy. Like, this is bad coaching. And so it's like, okay, fine, we'll give him a year. And it just got worse. I mean, it just was never good. And so if
he didn't even get a year. The season started, the beginning of September? And he didn't even make it to 2023.
He didn't finish the season. So, but if you're Denver and these guys seem to believe that Russell Wilson is their guy, they believe that. And I'm not here to knock Russell Wilson. So let's just say that Russell Wilson is their guy. You cannot hamstring Russell Wilson with some rookie head coach. Like, you just can't do that unless he shows signs of life in the first season. You cannot make him, maybe season 2 he'll get it done. No, you can't do that. This is Russell Wilson, right? And again, I'm not here to debate whether he is the guy or not. I'm just saying Denver believes he's the guy, so we'll just pretend he's the guy. You got Russell Wilson. You cannot do this to him. But here's why I'm not surprised is because when has Denver ever been 1-15? When has Denver ever been 2-14? That's the thing about Denver is they are always a team that is constantly trying. Yes, they're not New England. Yes, they're not Green Bay, but they're constantly trying. They're always trying to win every year. They're not
they
trying.
Have a winning history.
True, but I'm just saying that they might go 5-12, but this year they went like 4-13 or something.
They're like 4-11 currently.
Yeah, It's something they're going to end up like 4-13 or 5-12 probably this year. But even then, you have to look at them and say, I can see they were trying. They were not tanking to get somebody. And so that's why I'm not surprised. Denver is not a let's see if it works type of team. They're a let's go get Peyton Manning team. That's who they are. And then if they're going to say let's go get Peyton Manning, then they're going to say get Peyton Manning pieces. They're not going to waste Peyton Manning the couple of years they have. And so I'm not surprised at all because Denver is just that team. They refuse to be irrelevant. We saw the Lions, we saw the Browns for years that, they were just irrelevant and it seemed like they were never trying and they were bringing in quarterbacks that you knew like, okay, really? Like, you think that guy's going to get it done for you? Like everyone knew it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And Denver's not that team. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I am interested to see who they bring in because they asked one of their assistants if he wanted the job for the interim head coach for the rest of the season.
He turned it down.
He said no. He
said it's
a
lot of stress, man.
Right, but also that it looks bad on you too because if someone comes and hands you a pile of mud and says make magic out of this, like, and they're like, we'll pay you a lot of money to do it, but it's going to reflect on your record, you'll be like, that's not enough money. Like, you're going to have to give me more than that for me to ruin my coaching opportunity. Because if I bomb with this team the rest of the season, how am I ever going to get a head coaching job anywhere else?
And then you got to think too, like, bro, it's only 3 games. Like, hypothetically, if I win these 3 games, does it really say anything?
Steve Wilks could
wait, hold on.
He beats the Buccaneers next week.
I was gonna say Steve Wilks has a chance to go to the playoffs. You win 3 games, you ain't going to the playoffs.
But when he was handed that team, there was no shot at going to the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Like
but he also had more than 3 games left in the season.
Yeah, but he also had Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, and a bunch of running backs no one had heard of. I'm just saying, Steve Wilks, I like that guy. Like, I like what he's done with this team so far. I'm excited. I don't think they're going to get past Tampa next week, but still, if they do and he makes the playoffs, mind blown. I mean, it's pretty impressive what he's done.
That'd be one and done.
Okay, but still, I'm just saying it's good for him because he can get a coaching job next year if he wants, or just keep that one. He's guaranteed to keep that one.
I mean, in that case, though, I would stay there. I would stay there. Stay, because you know the system. Hopefully, you can get a piece or two. Hopefully, you can keep a piece or two, and right. You could be the Detroit Lions of the NFC South. I mean, you never know. You never know.
But he could have easily tanked and no one would have held him accountable for it. And yet the dude went out and just won games. And it's an impressive thing he did this year. It's very underrated what's going on in Carolina.
I agree. So, next topic. J.J. Watt says he is hanging it up after this season. I think, at the beginning of his career, those first 5 years, he was definitely, let's be honest, he was probably number 1 in the NFL. I think it was like him and like Darrelle Revis, maybe. Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis.
I mean, there were a lot of guys, but
But I think he was like he was like top 3.
San Francisco had some linebackers who were animals.
Well, they had linebackers. They had Aldon Smith. He was looking like the next best thing until
but Patrick Willis, I forget when he came into the game.
But what I'm saying is, Patrick Willis and them was able to roam because you had to double team Aldon Smith and
Navarro Bowman. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
that D line was the truth. They, they just couldn't get that offensive production. But yeah, man, he was he won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was looking it up. I
The
feel like
only
he won 3, and I was almost leaning toward 4, but I don't think he did win 4. But
I think he won 3. But long
you're right.
story short, man, he was, for them first 4 or 5 years, the best interior lineman,
Yeah,
D
3
lineman
times in the
in the
first 5
game.
years.
Okay. He was the best interior D lineman. He was an old fashioned football player, with the broken nose, bleeding by, and that's when, and honestly, the Texans were a feared team at that time. You got him on defense, you got DeAndre Hopkins on offense, and whoever at quarterback most times. And they were one of them teams. Hey, JJ Watt and DeAndre Hopkins can switch this game around if you let them.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think towards the after his fifth year, that injury bug, hurt him. We wasn't able to see him back at 100%, and I think we them injuries robbed him of he could have.
His brother's going through that right now. The injuries, man.
You talking
And
about
it's like,
TJ?
yeah. Cuz
Yeah,
it's
and
weird how quickly like someone that dominant can just be, it's like, oh, 'cause, I mean, he's not that old, but to think he's retiring already when he was just dominating the league a few years ago, it's pretty crazy like how cuz they're big dudes, man. And once they get hurt, those injuries don't recover like like some other people. When you tear something at that size, it's a bigger difference than But
yeah, he's only 33.
yeah. But one of the most impressive things to me is that he also won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, because most of the time when you hear about teammate of the year, it's like a guy who's, everyone loves him, like a Boban, on Dallas, whatever. He's not there no more, but I'm saying like a guy like that. And you think, it's almost like, not to be mean, but like kind of like a team mascot type player. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
he's the fun guy on the team, but he's not. Never was Michael Jordan. Never was, or I guess we'll go back to football. Aaron Donald isn't winning this award. Just whatever your biggest player. So for like someone that dominant to also win Walter Payton Man of the Year, like to win Man of the Year award, is pretty impressive, because it's usually given away to some guy who's just oh, Udonis Haslam's our favorite player, and it's like he played 0 minutes, but we really like him. He's a cool guy, whatever. And to see someone like him actually win that award too is a big deal. I mean, because you don't really see, a lot of players at their prime who are dominating the game win that award. And so I think it's kind of cool that he won that too.
Yeah.
Um, did you watch the Tampa Bay game? The one that announced his retirement after? Did you see that game at all?
You know what? That was the Sunday game. Did they play Sunday, Saturday? You know what? I was out of town. I was not able
It
to
was either
see.
Sunday night or Monday night. I don't.
It was one of them days. But go ahead, I'm listening.
So I was watching it, and his name, he didn't get no sacks, but his name was getting called over and over and over and over that whole game. And my thoughts were, this dude is either retiring after this game or he's getting tested, because like he was, you know what I mean? Like when you see older guy, and he's not that old, but when you see
What
someone who
you
hasn't
saying? He
been
got
doing
ahead
it,
of it.
yeah, when you see someone who like hasn't been doing it in a while, like at that level, come out and just like disrupt a game by himself, like it's just every single play you would hear JJ Watt, JJ Watt, JJ Watt. It's like, dude, this dude is going off the chains right now. He's in the backfield. I mean, Tampa Bay could not slow him down. And I'm like, he's getting tested after the game, or he's just going to announce his retirement. And I was literally saying this to the people watching the game with him. Like, he's going to announce his retirement to avoid getting tested or something. I'm not saying he was doing nothing, but I'm just saying, like, I was saying it the whole game, like, this dude is playing out of his mind. And it could be one of those things. It could be because his son, so that's his son's first game ever. Now, granted, his son didn't see a single thing. I mean, he's
Right.
barely opened his eyes yesterday. But I'm just saying,
All right. He don't remember
maybe
that.
maybe that was an inspiration for him. And also maybe knowing that he was going to retire after the game, And it being his last home game ever, he's going to play. I'm sure he found some inspiration from that, but he was definitely like on something. No, I'm not saying drugs. I'm just saying he was definitely inspired by something that game, because he was balling out, man. It was impressive to watch. It was a boring, ugly game, but he was fun to. JJ was fun to watch. I'll give him that.
That's all of Tampa Bay's games these days. Boring and ugly.
It kind of
Well,
reminds
no,
me of.
Cincinnati wasn't. Cincinnati put it on them though.
Do you remember Tim Tebow's playoff run where they were just beating teams like 17-14, and you remember that?
They only beat one team.
No, but they get to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Because that team was like
the Bears was a part of one of those games.
Yeah, when Tim Tebow took over that team, I think they were like 1-6, and they entered the playoffs like 8-8 or something.
And then they made it to the divisional round.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers and then got smacked by the Patriots. Yeah. But I'm just saying,
the Patriots, Bill Belichick brought them right back down to reality.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It wasn't even bringing back reality. It was
not who you thought you were, son. Sit down.
But all the games leading up to that were like this. They were 17-14, 12-9 type games. It was like, what the heck?
Tom Brady and them get smacked in a second.
I'm just saying that's the level of play we're getting from this team right now. Is like, if the defense does not hold on, if the defense gives up 25, game over. Like, that's how it feels with this Tampa Bay team.
Yeah,
and it's not been fun to watch for a minute, but I believe they'll make the NFC Championship game. I think they have the running attack to do it.
You do?
I'm still running with Rachaad White. Now, my opinion could change week 1 of the playoffs. We'll see, but we'll see. I mean, because Sunday we'll pretty much know the outcome of what we're looking at for playoffs. Think about this: when Tennessee, week 11, Tennessee beat Green Bay on primetime TV, right? Sealing their bid
into the Thursday night game.
Yeah, they're 7-3 Titans sealed their bid into the playoffs, pretty much locking up that division and eliminating Aaron Rodgers' chance of making the playoffs on that game. Fast forward 6 weeks, the Titans are done, man. They're done. They lost 6 straight. The Packers have now gone, I believe, like 5-1 since then. And if they don't hold their own destiny, but they could. There's an outside chance the Packers could make it. Like, it's crazy to think how much things have changed in just 6 weeks. And I've been saying from the beginning of the year that Titans team was a joke. I was waiting for it to fall apart. I understand losing Ryan Tannehill is a big deal. Derrick Henry.
Yeah, losing Brown was a big deal.
But I'm just saying they were
in his prime and think you just gonna bounce back.
Yeah, but they were 7-3 without him before they lost Tannehill. I'll give them that. But I'm just saying, like, just to see how much things have flipped in just 6 weeks is pretty crazy. If Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady make it to the playoffs at both like 8-9, it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, this might be rigged. The NFL might.
But you know what's crazy though? To that point, I was reading something today. Dallas potentially would have to win all road games to make it to the Super Bowl because they didn't win their division, so they would have to go to like the Tampa or San Fran, something like that. I'm like, better hope you go to Tampa first, at least with Tom. You could put a hand on him. But
I like Dak, man. I like Dak. I really hope he can win some games and, because get the haters off his back, because he's fun to watch, man. He reminds me of the guy who steals money from people down in Brett Favre. Thank you.
What?
The guy I couldn't spaced on his name for a while there for a minute there, but Brett Favre. He reminds me of Brett Favre, man. Like, he doesn't dink and dunk. He's not gonna dump it off to his run backs. They're for running, and they can too. Pollard and Ezekiel can run, but he's not there to throw it to them. He's there to sling that ball. He takes chances. He messes up sometimes, but he's fun to watch, man. I like Dak. I don't understand the hate of Dak. Like, oh, he doesn't have the accuracy of the other quarter. Like, you mean the quarterback's literally handing it to the running back? Yes, you're right. He does not have that accuracy to like because he doesn't do that crap. He throws it downfield, and I like it. Like I hope he wins a couple games in the playoffs, at least one, but maybe two, because I'm just tired of these haters like who they want to see like super safe football. No man, let's play football. Like let's go, let that thing fly. And I like Dak for that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Anyway,
Uh,
we're way off topic, but kudos to JJ on a good career, man. Kudos to him. Seems like he's got a nice family. Like I said, he's well loved by all his teammates. Walter Payton Man of the Year, all that. Like he's got his first kid, whatever. So kudos to him. And like we just talked about with Tua, man. Get out when you know it's time. Like don't.
get out. Do not look back. You have done enough, young grasshopper. I mean, you ain't. You, well, let me not say you've done enough, but
I mean, he was hoping for a little more out of Arizona this year than this, but
is it? Yeah. Yes. Yes. But I think that whole contract thing, it was. I think Arizona was kind of doomed from the start, just because I'm sure that left a bad taste in Kyler's mouth. That's like us putting in your contract. Hey, John, can you actually watch the games for us? You're gonna be like, the hell is that supposed to mean? And it's always gonna be like you tried to play me. You
hey,
know.
the statistics prove it though, man. Every video game release, the man's game goes down. I'm just saying, the statistics are there.
Yeah, that ain't good.
As soon as the new Call of Duty comes out, you ain't getting much out of Kyler. I think it's chance. I don't think that those actually correlate, but it is. The numbers are there.
That's not good. If that's a real thing, that's terrible. I'm gonna just be honest with you. That's terrible. But
I don't think it's
hey,
all Kyler's fault. I do think that he might have been better destined to play baseball, but he's still a super talented kid. There's still time for
I
him.
think baseball is one of them things. If he wanted to, I'm sure somebody would pick him up. Well, I don't know
Yeah,
if his rights are still to whoever drafted him, but I don't know how that works.
I
But
mean, there's a lot of stuff, man. We can't get it all tonight, but I mean, Lamar probably on the move next year. Shoot, there's NFL's going to be a different landscape. Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, he's in that. Do you remember when the Bengals were bad the first year? Obviously,
yeah,
Joe Burrow was hurt, but he comes back the next year. They win a bunch of games late, make a nice entry in the playoffs. Boom, they're in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying Jaguars are in the Super Bowl. They're not. They're not going to the Super Bowl this year, but they're making that late surge. Second year, Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's third year. I think it's second though.
second.
And he's putting the NFL on notice, saying I'm coming. And so, with now Trevor Lawrence stepping up, Joe Burrow being that guy, obviously Pat Mahomes still proving he's that guy. Seattle doesn't need a quarterback currently. Like the landscape for Lamar Jackson, yes, somebody's going to want him. A lot of teams are going to want him, but it's not going to be a good team. He might end up having to go to a bad team and play, and for that, he might just stay with the Ravens. We'll see, man. But I think NFL is going to be an interesting picture next year because it's going to look,
It's
we're going to
gonna
see some.
look a whole lot different. But it's
Maybe go
gonna
to
be
the Colts.
exciting.
Who knows? I don't know.
Well,
Colts. Maybe he goes to the Colts. Who knows? I'm
uh,
just saying they. I think I will. Here's the thing. I will give my apology to Matt Ryan because seeing every other quarterback try to play with that team and how bad it is, and seeing how not like half not bad he was with the same roster that these other dudes can't do anything with. I'm like, maybe Matt Ryan isn't the problem there. Maybe there's some mass. I mean, obviously, the Jeff Saturday thing is a big joke, but like, there's some bigger problems on that team than the quarterback. I think so. I don't think that team is as good as we intentionally or initially thought they were. I think Jonathan Taylor masked a lot of stuff on that team last year, and
no,
they got
I agree with that. I agree with
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to make some big moves in the offseason. I think the NFL is going to get real interesting, but we got playoffs coming first. So
I'm always excited with NFL season now more than NBA because hey, sometimes you're not obligated to stay where you are. If you feel like things ain't going right, you could request a trade. Look at Baker. He done been on shit 3 teams in 3 years. In 2 years.
I will say that about the NBA. I think that's the problem with the NBA right now is
They're
when the king is weak, you usually see people try to like, when what Mufasa's down, you see the hyenas start to come up and try to be that guy, right? I
mhm.
don't think we're seeing that. Like we're not seeing somebody in the NBA right now who is coming for the crown. You could say maybe Jason Tatum, maybe whatever, but like that's the thing is the NBA's in that like limbo where like Steph Curry is just going to keep winning this every year with a mediocre or above average team because no, you're not seeing anyone just Joel Embiid, James Harden, any of the big guys. They are not coming for that, fighting for that crown that Kawhi Leonard, like you don't see that. Whereas in the NFL, like we said, we got Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. It goes on and on and on. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of guys fighting for that title every year in the NFL, and I don't know that I'm seeing that in the NBA right now. Like maybe Luka, I guess, but he doesn't have the guys around him. That's a long story of another day. But I think that's where the NBA is right now. Is there's not a player who even Jokic. I don't really get like he wants that title like from him. So we'll see, man. I'd like to see someone in the NBA. Maybe it's one of these young guys, but step up and be like, I'm the next guy, and maybe that'll get it done. But yeah, I agree. I think NFL is a little more exciting than NBA currently, but that could change.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited for especially this NFL season to come to an end. I know we like 2 weeks left in the regular season, but you know, if you live in the Midwest, in Chicago in particular, you ain't got to look forward to. So, uh, off season here we come. So
Hey, you know
training.
what? It's beautiful outside though because it's like in that early stage where we got the snow, but it's not enough snow for like the plow trucks to come pile it all up and make it
That's
just
true.
gross and dirty. So we still got like the clean white snow outside. I'm enjoying it. I ain't
Yeah.
hating on this
Hey, I
Christmas
ain't got
too
no
much.
problems. I ain't got no
Yeah,
problems with it. But you know, I'm excited to see what this NFL offseason brings for my Bears. So good people, we appreciate you for tuning
oh
in.
my gosh. Hang on. Can I say
What?
what the deal was? What was the deal with that? What the Bills were up 15. Kick a field goal makes it 18. They're only like the Bears 20 or 30. Makes it an 18-point game. That's a 3-possession game with like 2 minutes to go. Instead, on fourth down from the 20, they go for it and run the score up on the Bears. The Bills were like this. They're like, oh no, we're going for all the points here. I was a
You know
little, I
what?
was a little
They
surprised by that
figured
move.
this might be the easiest game for the next month. So,
So just run up the score.
get your, hey, somebody needed that bonus. You scored 3 touchdowns, boy, you get that $150,000 bonus. Go ahead.
That's true. JJ Watt did get his bonuses. He got like 900,000 in bonuses or something from that last game. It was pretty
Now,
crazy.
imagine that. Like, imagine what that check looked like. I know you ain't getting all that at once, but
If you
still,
live in Texas,
to
or
know you
Florida,
got 900,000 coming.
that's why a lot of these players want to play in Texas and Florida because that you do get it all.
What it?
When it's 900,000, you get 900,000. That sucker ain't no state taxes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
I know, right?
Beautiful thing. And we will be there soon. All right, good people. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all next week. This is your boy Suave, brother John. Walt will be back next episode, and we'll holler at you all later. Peace.
Deuces.